It's reality TV next. This is the tale of two individuals who stood on the cusp of having it all. A ginger prince who believed that he'd found the love of his life, a person with whom he could roast the chicken and enjoy having his pink pods tickled. A couple whereby he was largely regarded in a favourable light, the playboy prince who had suffered terrible tragedy as a young boy, and now it would appear that he had met the love of his life, and most people were pleased for him. She, the American actress, seemed to bring a degree of exotic interest to the royal family, with the potential for modernising matters as a commoner from across the pond. And yet, despite the warm welcome that she was given, the support, the opportunities, the chances to get it right, the pair of them fucked it up. He, because he fell into the grasp of a narcissist and allowed his addled brain to be influenced by the poison that she poured in his ears. She, because as a mid-range narcissist, she was incapable of harnessing the institution into which she had married for the greater good, but instead, like a petulant toddler, stamped her cloven hoof for the purpose of trying to get her own way, and took on a centuries-old institution and lost. In order to maintain that control, she fled across the ocean, first to Canada and then to California. And there, rather than forge a new life in the sunshine by embracing opportunities and commercialism, merchandising their royal connections, instead it turned into a whinge fest, a symphony, pity plays galore as they smeared the royal family from afar. At first, there was some appetite from this. Ooh, the gossip. But it soon became apparent that much of what was being said was horseshit, and thus people lost interest and indeed started to turn against the gruesome twosome. They resented such an abhorrent way of earning a living. It became recognised that the duo had no talent, and people really did not take kindly to their airing of dirty laundry and behaving towards family in the way that they did. Furthermore, her behaviour in particular around the death of Prince Philip and later the Queen just reinforced in people's minds what an odious and unpleasant, nasty and twisted individual she is. And thus, having stood, as I mentioned, on the cusp of achieving marvellous things which would have benefited the pair of them, it all started to turn to shit. I explained some time ago how the downward spiral had begun, and it has been gathering pace as of late. And this has been picked up by the Times. Valentine Lowe and Tom Witherow write, Hollywood, a US media executive said recently about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, loves a comeback. It was a quote laden with significance, not least because it implied that the couple's recent setbacks, including the end of their deal with Spotify, have been so calamitous that they needed a boost to revive their career. But as the Duchess turns 42 and the Duke embarks on a series of overseas appearances, has the time come for some kind of relaunch to turn their fortunes around? Once again, of course, there's much vaunted relaunch. After arriving in California to much fanfare more than 3 years ago at a time when the streaming services and studios were cash-rich and eager to throw money at celebrities, the couple signed high-profile deals with Spotify and Netflix. However, as the money in the entertainment industry has dried up, the couple's attempts to crack America appear to have stalled. In June, Spotify announced its deal with the couple was coming to an end, amid grumblings about the Sussexes' output or lack thereof. After Harry's wife only delivered a single podcast series during a deal said to be worth $20 million, an executive at the music streaming giant called the couple grifters. Their agreement with Netflix had also underwhelmed, with critics noting the couple's only success came with Harry and Harry's Wife, a 6-part documentary series that relied on dishing more dirt on the royal family. Pearl, an animated series about inspirational women, was cancelled. There were reports that David and Victoria Beckham have distanced themselves from the Sussexes after being accused of leaking stories about the former royals. Celebrity websites also reported that when Serena Williams, who helped organise Harry's wife's baby shower in New York, had her own baby shower last week, Harry's wife was nowhere to be seen. Paula Froelich, a US producer and journalist, said Hollywood is a one-horse town, where success in the entertainment industry is the main goal. Celebrities will not want to endanger their popularity by being seen as close to Harry and Harry's wife. It's great if you have a movie that does well in the States, but a movie is really only going to do well if it has an international box office. So what people are nervous about financially, they don't want to take a hit because they're seen as friends with Harry and Harry's wife, because everyone in LA has a movie they want to premiere in London, or a play they want to take to the West End from Broadway. And the biggest draw, the biggest get in London are William and Kate. If they show up to a movie premiere or a West End play, which is not often, it gets a lot of attention. It gets international attention. It's reprinted all over the world. Nobody wants to be seen as taking sides, and nobody wants to be seen as friends of Harry and Harry's wife, because then it's felt that Kate and William will likely not show up. The Prince and Princess of Wales appear to be in no mood for reconciliations after the Sussexes' truth bombs, including the revelation that William knocked his brother to the ground in 2019. "Oh, he broke my necklace." It was the princess who insisted that the palace statement published in response to Harry's wife's Oprah Winfrey interview directly addressed claims of racism, with the now famous line that recollections may vary. William and Kate continue to be wary, especially as the improbably named plastic-faced lieutenant, Omid Scobie, the co-author of Funding Freedom, Finding Dollars, an unofficial biography of the Sussexes, is writing another book, promising deep access. The Duchess of Sussex admitted authorising a senior aide to brief Scobie for the earlier title. Prince Harry is also facing a number of humiliating setbacks in the United Kingdom. A part of his court claim against the Sun newspaper, which is owned by the same parent company as the Times, was thrown out by the judge, who ruled his suggestion that a secret deal delayed his case was implausible. For the Sussexes, every slight reverse, no matter how minor, is taken by their critics as evidence that the couple's image has become tarnished over recent months. When Harry's name was left off a press release from Travelist, the sustainable travel initiative he launched in 2019, it prompted talk of a snub, which, given that Harry's name still features prominently on the Travelist website, may have been something of an exaggeration. Royal observers are also watching carefully for signs of family breakdown. The Sun reported that the Sussexes have not been invited to a gathering at Balmoral for the anniversary of the late Queen Elizabeth's death. This was denied by the palace, which said there are no plans for such an event, and that the King will spend September the 8th quietly and privately. Similarly, a video of Harry's wife and Harry released by them calling young innovators and campaigners to congratulate them on being given an award from a technology fund was billed in some quarters as the couple putting on a show of unity, as if any such show were necessary. Much attention is also focused on how the couple are pursuing their own projects rather than joint ventures. While Harry's wife has signed with the Hollywood agent Ari Emanuel at WME, Harry will be in Tokyo next week for a summit on the power of sport, community and philanthropy, and then Singapore 3 days later for the annual fundraising polo match with his charity Centre Ball. In September, he is expected at the Invictus Games in Düsseldorf. It remains uncertain whether Harry's wife will be there with him. But while the Sussexes are still box office, the fact they were the cover story for People magazine this week is evidence that they're still a talking point in the US. Experts believe that the damaging headlines may mean that it's time for them to change their public relations strategy. Kinsey Schofield, an American royal expert and host of the To Die For Daily podcast, said the American public remain intensely interested in the Sussexes, but perhaps not in the way the couple would like. People are committed to the soap opera, Schofield said, adding that Harry and Harry's wife give fans an authentic insight into their lives. In other words, people are hanging around for the car crash to happen. She criticised the video in which the Sussexes made surprise phone calls to the young people getting technology awards. The video, Schofield said, was so highly produced it was inauthentic. Suggesting that the couple should take a leaf out of the Kardashians' book and explore reality television, she added if Harry and Harry's wife would actually truly go the reality show route and give people a view into their lives, they would take all the power away from these tabloids and paparazzi that Harry and Harry's wife claimed to loathe. Schofield believes the couple's reputation was seriously harmed by a controversy over an alleged car chase in New York in May. The couple alleged that a near-catastrophic car chase involving paparazzi lasted more than 2 hours, although their version of events was challenged by photographers. It was also played down by the mayor of New York and the city's police. Critics said it was unrealistic that such a car chase could take place on the busy streets of Manhattan. The more and more we get to know Harry and Harry's wife, we realise that they speak in extremes, and that all of their exaggerations are a little bit exaggerated. And for the American public, the car chase was the very first example of seeing the way that Harry and Harry's wife interpret things to an extreme. Amid a growing sense that the Sussexes are struggling in Hollywood, Mitchell Jackson, a celebrity publicist and the founder of BCC Communications, said the couple have too much baggage, and organisers of red carpets are wary of their events being overshadowed. He said if you're doing a red carpet, you're promoting a movie or a fashion product, or whatever the event is to promote. The problem with Harry's wife and Harry is after the whole car chase thing in New York, people just feel like they're untrustworthy and melodramatic, and it's going to revolve around them. Well, of course it will. Harry's wife's a narcissist, and they will distract from what they're trying to promote. The car chase in New York, the fallout from Harry's memoir Spare, and the allegation of being grifters have caused serious damage to the couple's brand, Jackson said. He has advised the Duke and Duchess that to succeed in the United States, they must show a more human side to the public and lean into their celebrity, rather than the expectations that surround royalty. Thus, is it the case that they're going to go down the reality TV route? It might be the only option that they have left. Of course, it would be hugely scripted by Harry's wife and wouldn't actually provide any genuine insight because, as always, she knows the cameras are there. Her narcissism is going to cause her to behave in a particular way. What would be far more entertaining if hidden cameras caught what was going on. Then you would see what goes on behind the facade, and you would see the way that the narcissist engages in the malign behaviours towards other people, abusing them, in Harry's case through a sustained devaluation, and in the instances of others through corrective devaluations. But Harry's wife's facade isn't going to let that happen any time. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.